especially to the viewers and Ma'am Leilani Nazareno. We are Group 4 and we will be discussing about the group debate of house incarceration versus traditional imprisonment. And to begin with, we will introduce ourselves as the first part of our group debate. My name is Richard Vina as the leader of Pro-House Incarceration.
I'm Nina Perez, pro-house incarceration.
I'm Russell D. Lopez, pro-house incarceration.
I'm Denzel Rene Malto, pro-house incarceration.
Hello everyone, my name is Rabbi Eligaga, the leader of Pro-Traditional Imprisonment, and these are my members.
I am Raymart Almeida, pro-traditional imprisonment.
I'm Rowena Restrisimo, pro-in-traditional prison.
I'm AJ Ganchao from Pro-Traditional Imprisonment.
So ngayon, bibigyan ko kayo ng konting idea about sa traditional imprisonment. So, traditional imprisonment in the Philippines refers to the custodial punishment where an individual convicted of a crime is confined in a jail or prison facility operated by the government, such as those under the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology or BJMP, for detainees or the Bureau of Corrections or BUCOR, for convicted persons serving longer sentences. Traditional imprisonment in the Philippines is the deprivation of liberty imposed by the state, wherein convicted individuals are confined within correctional institutions. As a form of punishment, deterrence, and to lesser extent rehabilitation. So these are my legal contexts. First is grounded in the revised penal code of the Philippines and related laws. Second is sentences vary depending on the gravity of the offense. Example of reclusion perpetua, prison mayor, and arresto mayor.
So to give you also as the opening remarks of house incarceration, I can say first that house incarceration is a best alternative for imprisonment, particularly for wealthy offenders. In the Philippines, house arrest is also coined or termed as home confinement. So this is kind of legal measure na wherein it is indicated or self-explanatory na sa house incarceration that the offender itself is confined or is in prison inside their homes mismo, inside the residence, instead of being in jail facilities or what we call as traditional imprisonment. This is also under the umbrella of non-institutional correction, and this form of custody typically is ordered by the court and is used for under specific circumstances, and this follows the mode of restricted movement, such as meron silang supervising officer or merong monitoring officer na nakamonitor sila while they undergo house incarceration, and they are also under electronic monitoring, such as yung nilalagay yung anklet na dun sa paan nila so that the authorities may be able to navigate or locate them wherever they are exactly inside their homes. And to insert a legal reference which is not pushed through, I will just insert Senate Bill 2311 which was authored year 2014 by Senator Nancy Binay. She filed the Senate Bill number 2311 proposing to allow courts to order house or hospital arrest for detention prisoners with special conditions such as health issues. This is an act allowing house arrest or confinement in places other than regular detention facility for detention prisoner, just like what happened kay President Joseph Estrada under the Plunder case and kay Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, which was under hospital arrest during that time while facing charges. And I will just incite a strong basis of house incarceration until the present term, which was inserted in Human Security Act of 2007, Republic Act number 9372, that This act allows court to place individuals only charged with terrorism or conspiracy to commit terrorism under house arrest, especially when the evidence of their guilt is not strong, and pwede sila mag-apply for bail. The court may restrict the accused travel and communication. And another mode of this is while during house arrest, they aren't allowed to use telephones, cell phones, emails, computers, and the internet or other means of communication with people na outside sa residence nila unless the court will permit them to do so. So, another reference, revised penal code used in RPC, which is we are commonly taught with as criminology student, yung arrest na menor, wherein there is an imprisonment of 1 day to 30 days to serve sentence inside their home under police surveillance. This is considering factors like their health and other circumstances. But usually this is a penalty imposed for light offenses only. And in the next segment of this debate, you will witness why we strongly stand for house incarceration, and on the other hand, why they strongly stand for traditional imprisonment.
Magandang araw sa ating lahat. Sa mga ginagaya ng kapwa ko debatista at sa ating moderator. Ako po si A.J. Ganchao mula sa panig ng traditional imprisonment. At ngayong araw ay tatalakayin natin ang resolution na ano ba ang mas mainam na sistema para sa mga mayayaman na PDL, house arrest ba o traditional na pagkakabilanggo. Bago tayo magsimula sa pagpalitan ng mga argumento, ipapaliwanag muna ang mga mechanics at dali ng ating debate. Ang debate na ito ay may dalawang panig, ang pro-house arrest at pro-traditional imprisonment. Ito ay isasagawa sa pamamagitan ng mga sumusunod na bahagi. Una, talumpati. Ipapahayag ng bawat panig ang kanilang pangunahing argumento. Pangalawa, rebuttal. Tututulan o sasagutin ng bawat panig ang mga punto ng kabilang panig. Pangatlo, cross-examination. Magtatanungan ang bawat panig upang linawin o kontrahin ang mga ideya. Pangapat, ang layunin ng debating ito ay talakayin kung alin ang dalawang sistema, house incarceration o house arrest, ang mas epektibo pagdating sa seguridad, rehabilitasyon, pananagutan at hustisya. Paalala po sa ating mga kalahok, igalang ang bawat isa, iwasan ang personal atake, gamitin ang lohika, ebidensya at maayos na pangangatwiran. Kami po ay umaasam maging makabuluhan at maayos ang palitan ng ideya ngayong araw.
Are the rehabilitative goals of incarceration better achieved through traditional prison or house arrest for wealthy individuals?
Mas epektibo ang house arrest para sa mayayamang individual dahil tumutulong ito sa kanilang rehabilitasyon habang pinapanatili ang kaayusan ng kanilang pamumuhay. Nagbibigay ang house arrest ng mas madaling akses sa mga programang rehabilitasyon tulad ng therapy at counseling na makakatulong upang maiwasan ang pag-ulit ng maling pag-uugali. Ang house arrest ay nagbibigay ng kakayahang pagpatuloy ng mayayamang individual ang kanilang trabaho at personal na buhay na mahalaga para sa kanilang pagiging produktibo at matagumpay na rehabilitasyon. Ang house arrest ay maaaring magdulot ng malaking pagtitipid kumpara sa kulungan, kaya mas maraming pondo ang maaaring ilaan sa mahalagang programang panlipunan at aspeto ng hustisya.
Maaari rin magbigay ang mga tradisyonal bilangguan ng mga strukturadong programang rehabilitasyon. At ang mga pinaka-epektibong paraan ay maaaring depende sa kalayaan at pangangailangan ng bawat individual na lumabag sa batas. Mas madaling ma-access sa bilangguan ang mga ekstrukturadong programang rehabilitasyon tulad ng edukasyon, pagsasanay, at therapy kumpara sa house arrest. Ang mga bilangguan ay maaari din mag-alok ng mga espesyal na programa para sa mga lumabag sa batas na may particular na rehabilitasyon.
Would expanding house incarceration options help reduce prison overcrowding fairly, or would it mainly benefit the rich?
Ako ay sang-ayon sa pagpapalawak ng house incarceration o pananatili sa bahay bilang alternatibo sa pagkakakulong, lalo na sa mga hindi marahas na nagkasala. Sobrang siksikan ng mga kulungan at madalas ang mga nakakulong ay hindi naman banta sa lipunan. Sa house arrest, incarceration, mas tipid para sa gobyernador. Mas mga tao at maaataon ang mga bilanggo na makapagtrabaho. Suportahan ang pamilya at mabagong buhay sa tamang patakaran at gabay. Ito ay isang epektibong solusyon.
Bagamat maganda ang layunin ng house incarceration sa kasalukuyan, ito ay may pakinabang sa mamamayan. Kaya nga, may pera na babayaran ang monitoring devices na may maayos silang buhay at may abogado. Silang magaling at samantala ang mahirap na nanatiling nakakulong dahil wala silang kakayahang bayaran ang mga kinakailangan. Sa ganitong sistema, nagiging pribilehiyo ang katarungan para sa may pera, habang ang iba ay pinaparusahan palalo.
In what ways could house incarceration and traditional imprisonment for wealthy offenders affect public trust in the criminal justice system?
To address this point, house incarceration of wealthy offenders can enhance public trust in the criminal justice system in several key ways. First, it reflects a more humane and rehabilitative justice approach by allowing offenders to serve sentence. In a controlled environment that supports social reintegration, maintaining family ties and employment, nakakatulong upang mabawasan muli ang paggawa ng krimen. Ang pagbibigay pansin sa pagbabago kaysa parusa ay nagpapakita ng fair and effective ang sistema, kaya mas nagkakaroon ng tiwalang publiko rito. Second, it helps ease prison overcrowding by reserving traditional incarceration for violent or high-risk offenders, allowing better allocation of resources and demonstrating responsible public spending, which boosts trust. Third, strict monitoring technologies like GPS tracking ensure offenders remain accountable, balancing freedom with public safety and reassuring the community that justice is served without compromising security. Overall, this approach combines fairness, efficacy, and accountability, presenting the justice system as a modern, humane, and well-managed, thereby increasing public respect and trust.
House incarceration for wealthy offenders compared to traditional imprisonment can significantly weaken the public trust in the criminal justice system because it promotes the inequality in the applications of the law. According to Article 3, Section 1 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution, no person shall be denied the equal protections of the law, which means that every individual, regardless of social or economic status, should be treated equally under the law. So, traditional imprisonment is still the best way to ensure fairness and accountability. This is a strong message that the crime has a real consequence no matter who you are, unlike house incarceration, which allow wealthy offender to stay at home. Sa ganitong sitwasyon, nawawala yung functionality ng ating batas dahil sa ganitong sistema. Kasi ang nangyayari, imbis na makulong at pagbayaran yung kanilang ginawa, ang consequences, nananatili lang sila sa kanilang bahay. Komportable, may access sa internet, nakakakain na masarap at may pagkakataon din na nakakalabas pa. And it leads to the people perceptions that the law prioritize the wealthy, which weak the fairness and public trust in the criminal justice system. We want people to believe in the justice system. We have to show that the justice is fair and equal. That means applying the same rules, same punishment, same process to everyone to ensure that the law truly matters.
Mr. Raymar, if traditional imprisonment is truly fair and effective, then why do problems like overcrowding and reoffending still continue?
In reality, hindi naman natin mapipigilan ng mga kriminal na gumawa ng krimen. Ganun naman talaga ang kalalagyan mo since ginusto mo yan. But accountability is still important. People need to face the consequence of their actions. However, punishment alone isn't enough. There should also be a chance for rehabilitation and change, because in the long run, that's more effective and fair compared to house incarceration.
Yes, you're right that accountability is important, but if prison is truly effective, then why do overcrowding and repeat offenses still exist? Ibig sabihin, may mali sa sistema. Not everyone in prison receive proper rehabilitation. House incarceration is not a way to avoid punishment. It's a more humane and effective way to hold people accountable while also giving them a second chance to change.
So, Perez, hindi ba't ang house incarceration ay parang pagtakas ng mayaman sa tunay na parusa?
Mr. Raymart, hindi pagtakas ang house incarceration kung patas itong ipapatupad. Merong itong mahigpit na pakataran tulad ng surveillance, curfew, and monitoring para matiyak ang pananagutan ng offender. It's a humane and modern approach that help low-risk offenders reform while reducing overcrowding. It is not privilege for the rich, but a way to show that justice can be fair, effective, and more for everyone.
But house incarceration will only benefit to the wealthy offender. The reason why traditional imprisonment is the best way because it ensures equal punishment, no privilege, no special treatment, just real accountability for everyone.
House incarceration is not just for wealthy. If implemented fairly and based on the offender's level, rather than social status, it serves as a humane and just form accountability. Traditional imprisonment is not always the best measure of justice. There are different forms of punishment that can also be effective in correcting wrongdoing. Tandaan, justice is not only about equal punishment, but also about equal opportunity to reform.
Does house arrest for the rich undermine the principle of equal treatment under the law?
Yes, house arrest for the rich can really undermine the principle of equal treatment under the law. Dapat sa batas, pantay-pantay. Ang lahat, mayaman man o mahirap. Pero, in reality, hindi ito laging nangyayari. Kapag ang isang mayaman ay nahatulan ng house arrest, kadalasan sa mansyon o malaking bahay, siya ay magsisilbi ng kanyang eksistensya. Meron siyang access sa lahat ng luho, aircon, entertainment, masarap na pagkain at minsan may stop pa ito. So, parang hindi talaga siya paparusahan. Samantala kung mahirap ka, baka nga hindi ka eligible sa house arrest dahil wala kang sariling bahay o unstable ang tirahan mo. Imbis na house arrest, kulong ang baksak mo. Ibig sabihin, may dalawang klaseng ng experience ng hustisya. Kapag mayaman ka, mas magaan ang parusa. Pero kapag mahirap ka naman, mas mabigat. Bukod pa dyan, mayaman din ang kadalasang may success sa mahusay na abogado. Kaya mas mataas ang posibilidad ng house arrest lang ang makukuha nilang asistensya. On the other hand, maraming mahirap ang walang sapat na legal support kaya mas napapabigat ang hatol sa kanila. Kaya oo, house arrest for the rich, lalo na kung sobrang comfortable at hindi nararamdaman ang bigat na parusa, ay isang malinaw na paglabag sa prinsipyo ng equal treatment under the law.
No, house arrest for the rich does not necessarily determine the principle of equal treatment and under the law. Ang house arrest ay para sa mayayaman, ay hindi otorikong lumalabag sa prinsipyo ng pantay na pagtrato sa batas. Dahil ito ay batay sa kalikasan ng krimen at hindi sa yaman. Ang parusa ay pinatapataw batay sa kalagayan ng kaso at bagamat mas maginhawa ang house arrest para sa mayayaman, nananatili pa rin ang mga pangunahing layunin ng parusa ang pagkawala ng kalayaan.
Rowena, should punishment be the same regardless of lifestyle or wealth?
Yes, Mr. Marco. Punishment should be the same regardless of lifestyle or wealth. The justice system is supposed to treat everyone equally so that the consequences for a crime should not depend on a person's social status. Kung mas magaan ang parusa sa may pera para lumalabas na may special treatment at nawawala yung fairness ng justice system, justice should be blind. Dapat hindi bias sa status ng isang tao.
So, Miss Rowena, while it may seem like these rich get special treatment, the justice system consider many factors and sentencing, like pure record intent or the potential for rehabilitation. Not just with fairness, it's always about identical punishment, but about outcomes that fit individual circumstances.
So, Mr. Malcolm, people can fully trust a justice system that favor rich because it sends a message that money can buy life penalties. This weakens public confidence and creates a system where justice is unequal and unfair.
Does the government save money with house incarceration, or does it become a privilege only for the wealthy and powerful?
So to answer first the question, if the government saves money with house incarceration, absolutely yes. It is imposed by reducing the cost of providing food, housing, healthcare, and staffing for individuals in prison. By allowing these individuals to stay at home, yung government can avoid expenses related to infrastructure of prison, security, and the daily operations of each facilities. In fact, as dated last 2016 of August 30, na we have a yearly budget of 74,000 per prisoner, which is a thrice bigger than government spending kada estudyante sa ating bansa. And an annual average per inmate spending now runs to 73,910, almost 3 times ulit ng spending ng Department of Education or DepEd na 23,775 per student, almost 10 billion then every year. This is a research, or this is a headline as per Recto. And to answer the question following the first clause, well, it is true enough na house incarceration is interdependent with being a rich prisoner. And pwede natin siyang sabihin, we can say all we want na it is a privilege for wealthy offenders. But house incarceration is dealt with strict measurements. Diba, meron nga tayong monitoring, restrictive measures that relies heavily sa electronic devices, monitoring devices, and regularly chinecheck ito ng correctional officers or probation officers para ma-ensure yung compliance with the restrictions monitored through, again, electronic devices like ankle bracelets, which is allowed for real-time tracking of the prisoner's whereabouts. Kaya, if I were to ask you, kailan pa naging pribilehiyo to be caged inside your respective home? Eh, nung pandemic nga, parang hirap na hirap tayo nung hindi tayo makalabas only for a month. Tapos, right now, we are questioning na privilege ang house incarceration.
In theory, house incarceration such as house arrest or electronic monitoring can be a cost-saving measure for the Philippine government. Compared to traditional incarceration, housing an inmate in a jail or prison involves substantial daily expenses for food, security, healthcare, and facility maintenance. So alternatives like house arrest, particularly when combined with electronic monitoring, significantly reduce this cost. However, in practice, house incarceration in the Philippines is often perceived as a privilege disproportionately afforded to the wealthy, powerful, or politically connected. High-profile individuals have been granted house arrest or hospital detention, while ordinary detainees often awaiting trial for years, remain in overcrowded, underfunded jails, and this reflects systematic issues like inequality in access to justice, corruption, and slow judicial processes. So while it can save money, house incarceration tends to reinforce social inequities unless reforms are made to ensure fair access to such alternatives for all eligible offenders.
But the question here, Mr. Rabay, simply does the government save money from house incarceration? And to clearly admit it yourself, yes, it does. And as I have said earlier, the government spends approximately 73,000 kada taon on each prisoner in the Philippines. And this covers expenses like housing, feeding, and guarding inmates, as well as providing medical care and medicines. Sa Bucor budget in BJMP, let me first praise the BJMP. They have a budget of 8.6 billion for same purposes, while sa food allowance sila 2.5 billion per year on food. Approximately, it will cover 135,000 inmates. And sa medicine, per inmate is 1,825. But the BJMP is nagre-request na mag-increase ito to 30 pesos. And just so you know, this data's never lied. And these charts are factual and from an honest data. And as a continuation, while house arrest, hindi siya state-funded program, meaning to say, yung financial burden for food, utilities, and other necessities falls on the individual's family or the individual themselves. So, yung family ng individual incarcerated is nasa kanila yung burden to provide food for their incarcerated relative. And as the primary responsibility for their well-being, which is approximately close to their proximity, kung sino yung mas malapit sa kanila, sila yung nagpo-provide ng needs ng incarcerated relative nila. So, Mr. Aligaga, you can claim that house incarceration is perceived as a privilege afforded to the wealthy, but it doesn't nullify the fact na our government saves tons of money from it. I suggest you focus on the question, Mr. Aligaga.
Yes, nakaka-save nga ang government. Pero tama bang hindi pantay ang trato sa mahihirap na offenders? Dahil sobrang unfair para sa mahihirap na offender na makipagsiksikan, may limitadong galaw, may pagkain, hindi malaman kung pagkain pa ba. Sobrang hirap na kailang pinagdadaanan. Kaya dapat magkaroon ng pantay na trato kung mayaman man ito or mahirap. And Ms. Rivina, in Philippine law, penalties must meet 7 key juridical conditions. And one of the conditions indicated is that the penalty for an offense should be equal for all. No certain distinction of treatment should be given for all the reason of social status. And pag sinabi natin equal, the law must be applied without bias or favor. And penalties should be equally applied to all. The principle of equal treatment under law dictates that penalties must be applied uniformly to all individuals facing similar offenses without any bias or discrimination. And kung ano man ang pinataw na parusa sa isang tao, mayaman man ito or mahirap, dapat pantay at parehas ang pagtrato at walang special treatment.
So, would you mind answering the question I am about to ask, Mr. Rabay? Well, you clearly insinuated na house incarceration is an avenue for wealthy offenders para i-enjoy nila yung imprisonment. Are you aware of the headline regarding on some prisoners who were living like kings inside their prison cell?
Go on and continue, Ms. Rivina.
On December 2014, the biggest a raid occurred in the biggest jail in the Philippines, particularly in maximum security compound. The guards were able to seize and hoard money and drugs, including they are able to find concert stage, marble jacuzzi, and the strip bar in cells. And they resemble lavish apartments, which is a 20 air-conditioned villas as they called it. Can you imagine all of this accessible siya inside a prison cell? So that so-called traditional imprisonment you are strongly arguing about. What do you think is the more privileged? Wealthy incarcerated offenders na caged inside sa bahay nila with measurable restrictions naman and other relevant equipments, or the wealthy incarcerated offenders who are caged inside a fantasy of luxury experience inside sa prison detention facility?
Ms. Rivina, pardon me for saying this, but perhaps you are using worst case scenario just to justify your claim. Sinasabi mo na yung one-time occurrence na yun will likely happen every time a rich offender serves prison time. You are inciting a one-time headline. Ms. Rivina, paano naman yung mga wealthy individuals who serve or currently serving their prison time fairly and equally? Would this be overlooked? Countless individuals who have gone through fair incarceration and na-witness personally gaano kamiserable ang mabuhay sa loob ng bilang buwan.
I see how you invalidate my point here, Mr. Rapan. But what happened once might have the probability to happen again. Events that have occurred in the past can potentially occur again. Hindi naman porket isang beses lang nangyari, hindi na pwedeng mangyari ulit. And the effect of one-time event proceeding na pwede siyang mangyari ulit in the future of justice-impacted individuals. I will give you specific persons, right, like Romeo Haluscos in the year of 1999, followed by J.B. Sebastian in 2016. This caused that you are mistaken when you said that it was just a one-time event. And I want to close my assertion that house incarceration is a beneficial alternative, not just for cost-efficient means, but it allows wealthy prisoners to truly face their charges with obvious restrictions so they will not go on influencing their co-inmates and jail authorities with their illegal agendas. Para hindi na rin sila nandadamay sa mga evil schemes at kalokohan nila inside their prison facilities.
Ms. Rivina, if you have nothing to add more, I too as well would like to impart my sentiment on this. House incarceration may be cost effective, pero iba ang surrounding sa bahay at sa bilangguan. Did the government save? Of course, yes, pero tingin mo ba that the prisoner learned something from imprisonment? Jail give us the impression of not wanting to go there or stay there. How can the offender repay justice if that certain individual will serve his sentence inside the cozy shelter? And I encourage everyone of us to not be skeptic about Philippine progress. There are government officials who sit at their office with integrity and honesty. A reason that we can entrust these authorities with clean and unbiased commissions inside jail facilities.
Kinuha namin yung opinion ng mga Bureau authorities regarding house incarceration and traditional imprisonment as they are more knowledgeable about this matter. The responses will serve as a foundation basis regarding the issue of house incarceration and traditional imprisonment.
Sir, as a Bucor personnel po, do you prefer house incarceration or traditional imprisonment para sa mga mayayaman na PDL?
As a Bucor personnel, mas pipiliin ko yung traditional imprisonment kaysa house incarceration. Bakit? Kasi para mas matutukan yung PDL pagdating sa security and pagdating sa pag-reform sa kanila, which is yun ang dalawang mandate ng Bucor. So, bakit traditional imprisonment? Para pagdating sa loob ng piitan natin, mas matutulungan natin yung PDL pagdating sa reformation program ng Bucor. Maaaring maturuan sila ng iba't ibang programs pagdating sa reformation. Para paglabas nila is may natutunan sila at pwede nilang i-apply sa society natin. And then bakit traditional imprisonment? Para fair na rin sa ibang PDL natin na which is yung iba nagsasuffer sa loob tapos sila na nasa house lang, na parang unfair naman para sa part nila. Yun lang po.
Punta na naman sa susunod na bayan, barangay, di ba? Hindi naman pwede nga magbantay sa sarili na pamilya. Paano kung mag-isa lang yung lalaki o matanda yung kasama? Diba? Maraming factor kasi na makasalang-alang doon. At hindi rin magbabago yun. Dun sa akin reformation yun sa Bucor. Kung maintindihan nyo yung sa Bucor, ni-reform namin yung tao para pwede na siyang ibalik ulit sa lipunan. Ni-reform namin siya. Kumbaga yung pananaw niya sa buhay, binabago namin. Binibigyan namin siya ng kalayaan sa loob na makapag-aral, makapaglaro, ganyan niya, yung sports activity yan, depende sa pupuntahan niya. Yan. Yung mga hindi nakapag-aral, binibigyan namin ng dahil sa mga pag-aral. Tapos yung mga sports-minded, sa sports din. Ano pa yung mga reformation natin, sir? Yung may livelihood, kung gusto niya pagbalik niya may trabaho siya. Ganun hindi yung porkit kinulong ka, paparusahan ng parusahan, hindi. Inaano ka, ni-report ka. Para pagdating ng panahon, at laya ka na. Tumulat na, hindi marulat. Pagbalik mo sa lipunan ulit,
Panindigan natin.
Ito, iba na yung pananaw mo ano, kung matututo ka. Ganun ang sabihin.
Okay.
Kaya hindi talaga pwede yung sa bahay. Kasi una-una, wala magtuturo. Kung sasabihin mo na bisitahin, bisitahin, di ba? Kahit baka sabihin nila, pwedeng bisitahin, di ba?
Opo.
Paano sa isang, sabihin na natin, 10,000 kami, tapos 50,000 yung nakakulong, di ba? Sa isang bayan, sabihin na natin, 1-2 lang nakakulong. Pupunta ka pa sa isang bayan, di ba ang hassle mo? Baga, at ang laking hindi din natin sure yung may reform doon.
Sir, as a Bucor personnel po, do you prefer house incarceration or traditional imprisonment para sa mga mayayaman na PDL?
Kung i-base natin sa yun ma'am, sa profile nila, kasi kung dalawang klase kasi yung masasabi nating high profile. Meron kasing high profile na yung pagkakagawa ng kasalanan is, for example, plunder or mga basic lang din na kaso nga lang dahil sa mayayaman sila, high profile na rin po yun. Meron din namang pong high profile na yung kaso is mga heinous crime. Kumbaga, i-base natin yan sa trabaho namin. Mas gusto namin yung mga high profile na na yan. Kung sa experience ko lang, mas maganda yata yung bilanggo na, yung PDL na magiging PDL man sila. Yung mga mayayaman na heinous crime, dapat nasa house arrest. Kasi ganun din ang magiging labas niyan pag dito sila sa loob. Kasi nga, dahil uso ang bribery, uso ang mga nakukuha sa pera, halos lahat ng mga natin, kasamahan. Yung kumbaga, sa rin, ang tulad nito, yung sa mga basic na mga mayayaman na yung kaso is lang din naman, yung hindi naman ganoon kabigat, pwede na rin sila siguro sa house arrest yung tawag dito. Kasi dagdag pa yun, kasi yan, na dito, crowded na rin yung mga bilangguan. Pero kung sa normal talaga na na pagbabasihan sa i-base natin lahat yan sa dapat talaga sila, yung tawag dito, yung traditional imprisonment, kasi doon nila maranasan talaga kung ano yung hirap sa loob ng bilangguan. Kasi kung nasa bahay lang sila, hindi nila yun hindi nila malalasap yung hirap ng bilanggo. Pero ang lang kasi doon, ang disadvantage lang kasi doon, katulad din yung mga heinous crime, nakakatakot din siyang bantayan talaga. Kasi marami silang mga koneksyon, di ba? Kumbaga kung hindi kayo magkasundo, higpitan mo ng todo, kumbaga babawi sila sa'yo, hindi mo mamalayan, gaganti sila, o anong paraan nila. Pero mas maganda talaga sa lahat yung traditional, kasi yun ang doon nila yung hirap sa buhay ng bilangguan.